Today MTD have had the privilege to visit Paddock Gears in Tamworth to review not one, not two, but three machines from Gruppo Parpas that have recently landed. And the first being this beast of a machine, the Gruppo Parpas Shark.
And you're right, Shark is a great name because it is a beast. I mean, it's got two, what I would call effectively twin pallets. You might disagree with me, but this is their first twin pallet machine and it is absolutely massive. Now, they bought this because they were doing a development job that was the biggest job they've ever done. They've already got big parts. You can imagine how big this part must have been. They had it overhanging different tables. They said they kind of almost knife and forked it through. What that meant was they had to buy one of these. And if you're going to buy a big machine like this, because you're expecting big work, that's great. But if you're going to buy a big machine like this, you may as well get a twin pallet. So even if you've got smaller normal work to put on it, you're still getting a twin pallet, meaning you get free setup times. Makes loads of sense to me.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if the terminology twin pallet is correct, but you might be correct. But basically, you've got a central partition. So effectively, whilst one side is being set up, the other side could be running. Effectively, it gives you unmanned running through the night on large components such as this. The capabilities and some of the work that they're able to achieve on this machine is phenomenal. Can you tell us, I mean, you spoke to the MD earlier, Rowan, and he was telling you about the accuracy, positional accuracy, over 1.6 meters in length. So phenomenal.
It's worth noting they're in a temperature controlled room here, so this is kept at 20 degrees all the time. Otherwise, they would not be able to achieve the accuracy Dave was talking about. He mentioned they were quoted on the machine, 12 micron positional accuracy over, I think, 1.2 meters. Now that's pretty impressive, but they were actually achieving 6 to 8 micron, which is consistent. And to me, that's amazing. I mean, if you look at the size of the machine, imagining a 12 micron compared to the size of this it's unimaginable.
It is phenomenal, and what really impressed me as well is some of the parts that they make on here are very complex parts.
So they were doing a spur gear, we saw, which was, they were ball nose scanning the involute shape of the gear form, and he mentioned that they've got specialist gear cutting machines, which I assume can only do gear cutting, and not a standard universal milling machine, but with the ball nose scanning of those gear forms, they're achieving a better surface finish on this machine than they were on the specialist gear cutters.
And better accuracy and better repeatability, which is a massive point. Over, 1.6 meters in length.
It's kind of mind-blowing, really, isn't it?
It's phenomenal. We mentioned three machines. This is not the only machine, and we've got a review on this machine with the MD, Dave, that will be coming out soon also. But they've also purchased two roller machines, which are different type configuration of a fifth axis machine, which we'll go and have a look at too.
So these are the two rollers from Gruppo Parpas. This is a different kind of machine. Now these are 5-axis, slightly smaller, not exactly twin pallet. Now these have got a C-axis rotary table on the bed, tilting head. Now this is more for, again, gear cutting, but also jig boring. Now jig boring, to me, it's a very specialist operation. I mean, some of the bore diameter tolerances were 2 micron. I saw on one of the drawings here the operator was showing me, and also the XY axis repeatability for the PCD holes in this jig boring, 3 micron. It's amazing.
I think it's a really good point, really, and we mentioned on the Shark that the work has been taken off, or it's given them more capacity to do work that they were doing on the gear cutting machines, and produce the gears on the Gruppo Parpas machines. But not only the gears, they're also jig boring as well in the same operation. So what you're getting is very accurate gears, more accurate than on the dedicated gear cutting machines, better surface finish. But then you've also got the jig boring in the holes.
Without changing the setup.
Without changing the setup, and the relationship between the holes and the gears and the timing of that is absolutely
That's as accurate as the axes on your machine.
Absolutely
what I also
perfect.
like about it is it's a big machine. It's kind of complex in the way it will move with the head table configuration. They're programming pretty much 90% of their jobs actually on the control, the hide-and-hand control, which for me just goes to show, and they're complex parts, they're not just a single block with a couple of holes in it, just goes to show how good the control is actually for working such a complex piece of machinery.
Absolutely. I think some of the machine kinematics with the Gruppo Parpas machines and the hide and iron control are very special. The configuration, like you say, Rowan, I really love this configuration, how you've got the fifth axis bed here that can travel from one side to the other with the tilting head. The tools that are at the back that get loaded, they've got 84 tools in this now.
Which before they had 40 on a similar machine, and they had to keep changing tool setup times. So not only they're eliminating work holding setup times, they're eliminating tool setup times as well, which just makes sense. And also for unmanned running, assisted tooling, 84 tools, you probably get some assisted tooling in there as well.
Absolutely. And
Should we have a look at the slightly bigger one?
Yes, well, let's have a look at this one. And I just want to say, Rowan, we spoke to the operator earlier, and he said that since these machines have arrived, which was about 6 months ago, the savings that he's getting in regards to time as well is just phenomenal. So the speed of the machines, the accuracy of the machines, and the capability of the machines are second to none. Now the Roller Mega is just like the big brother to the Roller. It's a larger version of the Roller.
And the size of the part they've got in here right now, we can't show you it unfortunately again because there's NDAs, etc. It's massive. It's what? Would you say it's about 1.2 meters long, maybe 1.6 meters long? And it's got some really complex helical gears that we've just seen roughed out, really quick operations. And it's amazing how accurate these machines are. I guess 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, you probably weren't able to do these accurate gear forms on a milling machine like this.
Absolutely not. It is an absolute game changer. And Rowan, you've not seen these machines before in the UK.
No, I've never heard a Gruppo Parpas in my life, I'm afraid.
And what do you think of them?
Well, they're big machines. I'm really impressed. Just the whole construction. I mean, I've not seen, most of the time we see normal VMCs. This is something different, something special.
Rowan, it's been an absolute pleasure. These machines lend themselves to a multitude of applications. They're dedicated to certain applications too. Great machines for also the aerospace industry as one example of many. But to find out more, contact Leader CNC Technologies.